Hello everyone, my name is Daniel Santos. I'm here to do a short presentation about remote control and also drones. Um, I started flying airplanes and helicopters over 30 years ago, and now with the new technology that's happening throughout the whole world, the whole remote control has changed. Back in the day, we used to fly, for example, different frequencies, 72 megs. Overseas, it was like 35 megs. Now we fly at 2.4 gigs over here in the States. In addition to that, we are moving into the drone world. And the remote control, we still flying airplanes and helicopters and why not. But now we also moving into drones. And also, moreover, we also flying what is called FPV, first person view. And what it is on the first person view is that we install a camera on the drone and we are able to see, it's like you inside the aircraft pretty much. You put your goggles on, you settle the drone and you just go and fly. You fly to remote control, but what the drone is seeing live, that's what you're seeing. Right now, for example, in relation to the drones, there's a leg that started about 4 or 5 months ago in October. It's called the Drone Racing League, and it's a sport now. It's actually a sport which they plan to incorporate into the other sports around the world. They're racing for money, just like they do at the racetrack, NHRA, and the NASCAR, and so forth. And they go by levels. You know, they go by points pretty much. You know, they do the last one I saw they were doing in California. They go to some obstacles. Mainly they use empty warehouses, and they put a kind of neon lights or why not. And the pilots, they gotta go to those obstacles, and of course they go by how fast you get to the end of the point. And of course there's a lot of crashes too, because I mean you're just going fast. Some of these drones are capable to exceed over 80 miles per hour. That's how fast they go. So what I want to do today is pretty much show you from where you start to build a drone to the final product. And then I'm going to be able to show you as well, here I got my monitor, and I'll be able to show you what you will see if you would have the goggles on, what you're going to see as far as the drone flying. So one more thing I want to add to that is that I started 3 years ago, and when I started just building or just buying the kit. For example, something like this, that you will go online, buy a kit, and then you buy the motors, the control boards, and then you put it together, and you know, you do the whole work. But now, with the technology being so affordable, the time I spend building this, which is fun, you know, I really wanted to do myself, but now the time and money I spend on these, I could go over there right now, even on Walmart, Best Buy, why not, they say you already complete drone for about the same price of what you building one. But then again, it's better for you to build it because you are more, you fall in love with the aircraft because you know you build it the way you wanted it. And you know, it also keeps you busy, keeps your mind occupied. So this right here is a frame. This one is called an X frame because of course you like an X. Then you got some other ones that call a box, like a rectangular box. And pretty much it's similar to this. If I'm going to show you that one, that's the one I got over there. And they're different types, different models. So this one right here is pretty much already pre-assembled. What you have to do in there, put the motors on, the distribution board, which I'm going to show you what that does. The control board, I'm going to show you that too. And then you install the camera equipment, and also the transmission for the camera. It's called the VTX, video transmitter, that's what it's called. Fairly easy to sample. So that's an example of one of them. Here's another one. In fact, this one's the box. Here's a picture of it once you finish the product. So this one's like a, you know, just like a box. And this one, see the difference as far as the frame? This one's an X, this one is a box frame. This right here, on this one is the top part of it, and pretty much that's where you're going to be mounting all of your equipment. your flight control board, your transmission, your MECATX, and your receiver and the battery. So I've done just examples of those. So how everything starts? Well, going back to the technology changing almost every single day, this right here is what is called the flying control board, the FCB. Okay? And this what controls the whole aircraft, this little piece right here. You solder all the wires to this board, then you go online, the different program software, depending which one you want to use. Some examples are Clean Flight, Libre Pilot, and one now is called DD. And pretty much you plug this in with a micro USB connector on it. Once you download the software into your computer, and you program everything, all the way from how fast you want the motor to go, when you want it to stop, the whole on this little micro board. Along with this right here is a distribution board. Basically, first you wire all the wires here from the motors, the battery connectors, everything in here. And then once you do this one, then you pass the power from here, whether, like he said earlier, as far as the voltage, 3 volts, 5 volts, why not? Most of the cameras, they work on 5 volts. There's other ones out there for 12 volts as well, and some of them like go up to 17 volts, but mainly from 5 to 12 volts. So here's your receiving part of it, your distribution board. Then from here, everything else got wired to it as far as the power, and this was going to make the aircraft to fly. Okay. Going back to the technology portion of it, and like Dan mentioned earlier, this little microchip right here, once you install it into these boards, it's in addition to it. This one is called the OSD, on-screen display. This little board, also you gotta program it, is gonna show you on the screen, which I'm gonna show you here in a little bit. It's gonna show you how much battery you got left on the aircraft, how fast you're going. You can program how high you're going, minutes flying, you name it. It's everything right here. And you see that on the screen. Mine, for what I do, I just got the basic. I got the battery voltage because I need to know, when I'm going to be landing, how much battery power I got left, how long I've been flying, and so forth. And that's pretty much it. But on this little thing right here, you can program a lot of things for your aircraft. So these 3 main pieces right here. Now, going back to also motors. These motors right here, they go mounted in here. This brand in particular is a very well-known, recognized motor because it's for fast drones. Why not? But one thing I want to point out to you is, see the size of this one, and here I got a smaller one. Of course, they do make a difference. That one, of course, is going to be more powerful because this one is smaller, but it's going to show you that even with this little motor right here, you can get up to 80 miles per hour speed on those drones. Okay? It's all under control of the board when you program it. Here also, this is what is called the SC, which is the speed controller. And then here in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you the final product so you get a better idea of what I'm talking about. But this right here is also soldered to the board. And this controls how much ampage is going to that motor. This one is a 20 ampage speed controller. Okay, the good thing. So we got motors, we got speed controllers, we got the distribution board, we got the OSD. If you want to add that, that's an addition if you want it. And now we're going to talk about the video transmitter and also the camera. Here I got 2 examples of the camera. This camera right here, it runs on PAL, that's the thing we were discussing earlier, and the NNTC. It has a switch button here, you can switch to see depending on how you want to transmit. Most of the time here we're using NTSC, that's what we use. See how micro this is? And this camera, you can also find them on security systems. Like you can go online and you don't necessarily have to buy from a hobby place. You can actually go for example, security camera 2000, and go in there, you find the similar products. Even some of them are smaller than these ones. Okay, that's one example. Then you got this one, slightly bigger, and this one is an open bore. And what we do, pretty much everything's already wired, but the reason it's open like this because make it lighter instead of having the frame on it. Because on these things, when you build it, you want to go as light as possible. The lighter, the faster. Okay, and of course less consumption of power because it's flying much lighter. But if you see on this one I put some rubber bands, not rubber bands, rubber tubing in here to keep it at an angle, because when they start flying, when I take off on this, I give it full power, it doesn't go up like this, it goes like this. So I gotta be looking, higher from the ground. The only problem is when you're going for landing, then you're not gonna be seeing the ground because the camera is pointing up, so you gotta kind of guess estimate, how high you're gonna be landing, because sometimes you just gotta let it drop because there's no other option, because the camera is pointing straight up. Okay. Now, the other thing we add to that, when you have your remote control, this is the receiver, and this is the one that receives the signals from the remote control, the ones you got on your hand to fly with. And these also go connected to the board, to the control board. So all this, it goes on the aircraft. Okay? Alrighty. What I want to do now, one more thing. This right here is the video transmitter. This right here can transmit up to 200 meters out. So if you're going, for example, to Lions Park right here, you should be able to fly around just with this transmitter right here. If you want to go farther, this one is at 200 MV, milliwatts, and then the other one is 500, and they go to 1,000. The higher the number, the bigger they're going to get. So for this aircraft, since most of the time you're going to be flying on a controlled environment, you know how far the goal is for the racing and why not, this is good enough for you to fly around the flying course or the racing course. Okay? And very important, one thing I want to mention is the antenna. This antenna is what is called a clover antenna. And just like it is, you see in here, this gives you more reception because it's round. Okay? However, if you use, there's like 4 or 5 different antennas in there, which is, and Dan might be able to explain more on that. But for example, you got the whip antenna, just like the one used in the walkie-talkies. That's a directional antenna. So for this hobby, we don't use it too much because if I'm flying in front of me, I got no problem. But once I start flying left and right, I'm gonna lose reception because it's that directional antenna. Okay? So that's something that most of the pilots we fly on the racing, that's what we use. We use this clover antenna to give you more radius of reception. Okay, so let me show you the goodies here. Right here, you can see him around on different things. This is a remote control. This is one of the latest remote controls out there in the market. It's called Horus, and it has a whole bunch of different features. I can even play music on this if I want to.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it talks to you, lets you know how long you've been flying, whether it lost reception. You can program whatever you want to hear, including music, on this. In fact, I still gotta play with that because I just got it. I got so many radios. Okay. Here's the important thing. This is the goggles. This in particular are the Sky Zone goggles. The Sky Zone goggles, I put this in here just to look funny.
Okay, that's why I was asking.
No, when you put them on, this is how you look. Okay? And the only thing you're going to be seeing with it is what the aircraft is seeing. Okay?
Okay.
Now, going back to technology, when I started this, I was the pioneer in the club who started experimenting with the FPV about 3 years ago. And the technology, just like your telephones, you know, you buy a cell phone today and 3 months later they got a new phone out there. So it's pretty much with the same thing right here. The ones they got now, any brand, they got the Fat Shark, which the antennas are using right now. You can also record straight into the goggles. You put an SD card in here, as you're flying, whatever you're doing as you're flying, it's gonna get recorded on the goggles. So literally speaking, mine's already old because I don't have that. I used to record on my monitor right here. I had a mini DVR that I used to record with. Okay? So SkyZone, Fast Shark, there's so many out there that I can't even tell you how many because it's every time they come out with something new. But this is one of the top of the line brand. SkyZone, the Fast Shark, that's the one you're gonna see out there the most. Okay, here is the watch. This watch, believe it or not, is a monitor, just like this one is. So I can put it right here, and well, it won't be me because I will be flying, but if you want to see what I'm doing when I'm flying, you can see over here, you're going to see me going through the loops, jumping around, going through the trees, going through the park, you're going to see it right here, live video. So, see how technology is getting so small and interesting. I'm going to show you this here live in a few minutes. And this right here is the final product. Once you assemble all these pieces right here,
Oh my gosh, it's huge.
this is what you get.
It's larger than ones we have. Ours are smaller.
Right. Here you see a camera, pretty much just like that one here, but this